Hello guys, last video we have seen the two representation of the finite automata. Which one is the graphical representation and another one is the tabular representation, where graphical representation will explain the set of the finite automata, where q is the start states and epsilon is the inputs and delta is the transition from one state to the another state, where here example as q0 on q1, where from q0 to q1 a is going, from q0 to q2 b is transferring, as of like we write the entire thing. Also the important thing is the beginning state is represented as the single circle and the final state is represented as the double circle. So the tabular representation, here the tabular representation will have the name. So in this the initial state is represented by a there will be no representation of the circle. In the final state the representation will be the only single circle. Here this arrow will explain the beginning and the circle will explain the final. From the above diagram we have seen from q0 to a which state it's going, and q0 to b. Also we have seen what is called a self loop. Now we'll discuss a new topic called transitional system. So let us write some theory part on the transitional system. So it is called sometimes called as a transition graph. So it is written, it is sometimes called as transition graph. Now we write a theory on that. A transitional system is a finite directed graph in which each node or else also called as vertex represent a state and directed or indicates the transition of states. Also the label of occur indicates the input or output or both. So here see what is the transitional system. So the transitional system, it is sometimes also called as a transition graph. So a transition system is a finite directed graph in which each node or vertex represented state and directed as the indicate and the transition of the state. So the label of work is also known as a input, output, or both input and output also will be written. So in this we have two properties. So we have two properties in transitional system. So in the transitional system there are two properties, so which also have the indicates of the grammar. First one, where delta tends to q comma